These are late again. Welcome back to Movie Munchies. I'm Alexis. If you've never been here before, we watch things and we eat them. Today is treat day. Yesterday we watched Good Burger. Today we're making a good burger. Let's do it. Well, I started with the bun. And I said in my last video that that was the part that intimidated me the most. I had a conversation with Rumi when I was talking about making the bread from scratch. And he brought up a sensible question that was,
well, you're a baker, aren't you? So why is it intimidating to you?
And I explained to him that within the world of food, there are many notches and niches and nooks and crannies that you could possibly fall into. Some people are pastry chefs, some people are bread bakers, some people are cake bakers, some people are cupcake bakers, some people are cookie bakers. Some people specialize in Italian cuisine, some people specialize in French cuisine, some people specialize in Korean cuisine. It literally, there's 1,000,001 different holes you could go down. You know, once you settle into one of those notches, more likely than not, you are intimidated by at least one, if not several, of those other ones. And for me, I am most comfortable in the realm of cake and cupcake baking, but bread is an entirely different story that makes me sweat. Because batter and dough are two very, very different things. Anyway, so what happened was I chose the easiest recipe that I could find by, hi, I'm Christine. A quick brioche bun recipe, and it seems simple enough. It started by combining some sugar, yeast, warm water, which had to be between like 105 to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. I did my best to track that. Did it turn out exactly? I don't know. Did it fall in that frame? I have no idea. In the end, because like I warmed it up and then I took the temperature of it and then I had to do other things real quick before I actually added it to the mixture. So who knows if by the time I put it in the bowl with the other ingredients, it fell in between the 105 and 115. Oh well. And also warm milk, which had to be in between those same parameters. So then I had to mix that together really gentle-like until they were combined-ish and let it sit for like 5 minutes, I think. I still can't crack eggs to save my life. Then came adding an egg and some salt and then mixing that on a slow speed. Just until, again, it was mixed enough. Then I added, there were 2 types of flour. It was all-purpose flour and then also white whole wheat flour. So I added both of these into that mixture and again mixed it until it was combined enough. Then I had to add some butter, room temperature butter, and I just let that go until, listen, it wasn't mixing like 100% well, you know what I mean? And it said, so I looked at the recipe, read it through several times before I even started this. It said specifically, mix with the paddle attachment until everything was incorporated, and then switch to the dough hook. To me, it would have made more sense to like add the butter after you had switched to the dough hook, because maybe then the butter would have combined more easily in that case, but who knows?
I'm not the expert bread baker, so
I just did what the instructions told me to do. So after I added the butter, then I switched to the dough hook. I have no idea if I'm doing this right. And at that point, it had to mix for 8 minutes, or knead. It had to knead for 8 minutes. So I have never used the dough hook before. So when I added it to, like when I put it on the stand mixer, there was just like this rise of mist or steam or smoke or dust particles into I have no idea what was going on. But there was just a wisp of something floating off into the distance, and it was strange. But, you know, everything turned out fine. Nothing caught fire. Alexa, set a timer for 8 minutes. Yeah, I let that go, and as I did so, I cleaned off the counter space because I needed that in order to do at least a little bit of hand kneading. This part, I will say, was actually quite fun. I don't know what it's supposed to look like! She said it would be soft and slightly sticky. It is those things. I don't know if this is right. Alexa, what is brioche dough supposed to feel like?
Here's something I found on the web. According to wiseajit.com, brioche is a French bread characterized by a rich, sweet flavor and flaky texture that almost makes it feel like a pastry rather than a bread.
Knead a few times to form it into a ball. Actually, this feels quite nice. Hey, am I doing it? I'm doing it, Mom! Here's the question. How big do we want it to be? Like this big, or like, do we want it to like half it? I think it's gonna rise some more, so let's do it half. It's actually kind of fun. Like that. Loosely covered with kitchen towel. So I wanted big buns, not like massive giant buns. Like I kept to the portions and ratios that the recipe called for because it said in the end cut the dough into 8 pieces, but I decided to leave it, in bigger masses. So I cut it in 2 because I wanted like not a giant bun, and I only had so much pan space to bake these on. So I decided, just a big bun, satisfying. We're going for like Mondo burger, good burger, that little nice in between. So those had to proof for like 15 minutes, it said, and then I made like an egg wash to go on top, which was literally just an egg and some milk. 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is. Listen, I'm excited. It's looking great. Okay. I brushed the tops of the buns with the egg wash. I will say the thing that I lament the most is that I neglected to add sesame seeds to the tops of the buns. I meant to. I did. I meant to. But it didn't happen. It slipped my mind. Inevitably, always something does. I'm sorry. See you in 14 minutes. Ooh. Oh my god, they're beautiful! Sorry! Oh. Look at those beauties. They are gorgeous! I'm so excited. The smoke alarm did go off. It's biased as hell. Listen, I'm sick of it at this point. Because nothing even has to be smoking. Nothing's on fire, nothing's burning. If I am cooking food, if I open the oven, if I turn on the stove, if I open the air fryer, if it smells food, it just goes off. It just goes off. And I'm tired of it at this point. I just want my life to be peaceful, And it's way up there on the ceiling, so I can't reach it. So I usually have to go and grab the broom to push a button like that, But it decided to shut up because it knew it was wrong. I did get a little bit paranoid about the bake time because I was like, well, 13 to 15 minutes is what the recipe said. And I was like, well, the 13 to 15 minutes in the recipe was with the idea that we were baking 8 smaller buns. And I was like, oh, I should probably stick these 2 larger buns back in the oven for at least a little bit to make sure it's baked all the way through. So I did that, then moved on to the Sowce. So what happened with this? Basically, I referred to my list that I made while I was watching the movie. I put those things into a bowl. Didn't measure anything, because who measures? The sauce, was probably the part that I was most confident about. It's hard to mess up a sauce. You literally just add things that you think will work into a bowl, mix them together, and keep tasting it until it's right. Until it feels right. That's exactly what I did. There was no rhyme or reason to this process whatsoever.
First, you start off with some ketchup and a little lemon juice. We measure with our hearts here. I think that other red stuff could have been barbecue sauce. Or that dark jelly looking whatever. I'm just going to add a little bit. And some red wine vinegar. Just a touch. Yep. Worcestershire. Whoa. Do. Salt. Onion. Let go. And our friend malted milk. Is that enough? I don't know. I'm going to put in mayonnaise because that makes sense to me. It doesn't look extremely appetizing right now. Let's try it. You need some tweaking. First of all.
So after the point at which I had put all the things that I guessed or assumed based on the movie were in the sauce and tried it, that was the point at which I was like, okay, let me use my food brain and taste for flavor. Let me use my complex palate to fix this. Because it wasn't horrible. I just knew that wasn't it. And there was more that needed to be done to it. So this was the point at which I added things I felt would make sense in the sauce. Things that weren't necessarily there when I was watching the movie, but I was like, I know this will work. And this will make it better. So I went completely off the rails. I wasn't on the rails to begin with, but I went completely off of them. I added things like onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, the mayonnaise.
What kind of monster have I created? We're getting there.
Later on, when I tried it again, I added some literal minced garlic and things like that. Some sugar. I was winging the hell out of this.
Did we crack the code? Probably not. Does it look appetizing? No. Is it good? Yes. Rich, really tangy, garlicky, oniony, not sweet, but there is an undertone to it that kind of just, I think this will do just fine. And tiny, not spicy, but yeah, you get what I'm saying? It's not sweet. The spice is just kind of under here with the sweet. And they're kind of pushing everything else up. You know what I mean? It's not bad. I like it. I think that'll be fine.
So after I decided that the sauce tasted good, I had the thought, once I had turned off the camera, what if I blended it?
You know what I just thought about? Hear me out. What if? It's possible. But to get that smooth finish, you know? That's actually really good. I've created something!
Somehow, don't ask me how, that made it like 10 times better. I don't know. Maybe it was like the juices of the little dill pickle bit and the onion bits just like dispersing throughout the whole of the Sowce, and maybe the texture of it doing some kind of psychology, something to my brain, in probably the emulsification of all the ingredients together. Just like a really hard, like, mix, you know, that really, like, got those flavors working together. I don't know. I have no idea. But it was a burger sauce, and it was so good. Then it was time to cook some fries, cook some burgers, and put it all together.
Can't have burger without fries.
And surprisingly enough, the smoke detector did not go off while I was doing this. Don't ask me why. It's so finicky and just has a problem. It just has a problem. I'm glad it didn't go off again. I did open the door to make sure that the air was circulating through the apartment.
Good old American cheese. We have to toast the bun. Moment of truth.
Ooh, it looks beautiful.
Whoa. Bun. I am a believer of putting sauce on both sides. Howdy. Hoppin'. Assemble.
Nice.
Onion.
More of Ed's sauce.
And don't forget the pickles. French fries. And let's go cross section in here.
Ooh.
Man, we'll crush a killer with a thigh bone. Man.
And we shall eat for the glory of our sons and daughters. That goes really good on the fries. This one's already falling apart. No! This is the problem with burgers. It smells like a Big Mac. It's so messy. Stop. Ah! Ugh. Here we go. Yo. That. That is so good. The sauce is killer on this. My God. The bread is really fluffy. Just a classic of classic burgers with just a punch. This sauce, I'm telling you, is so good. It's so good on this. It makes the whole thing. There is no wonder that Good Burger got so popular when they added that sauce. This burger is a mess, but it is so tasty.
Yeah, that burger, it was a mess and a half. And you know, what else can you expect of burgers? To go into more detail about the bread. Oh, first, let me confess, the meat was a little underdone to my liking. So I did remedy that in the midst of the tasting. And I went back and cooked it a little bit longer, just so it wasn't as pink in the middle. And then I put it back together very sloppily and continued eating. And as I was eating the bun, it was falling, it was like disintegrating, it was falling apart. Before my first attempt at making brioche buns, I was very proud of it. I still think it turned out really well. The bread tasted good. Like, the flavor of the bread was good. It was really, really soft, and I think the crumb wasn't horrible. I think what happened was the proving time needed to be adjusted. I don't know if it needed to be more or less. Probably more, I imagine, because it did turn out like kind of dense, and the structure of it kind of fell apart. So it probably needed to be kneaded longer as well to get that gluten really in there. You could get the structure holding, and it probably needed to proof for longer. Those are just guesses based upon my knowledge from watching like the Great British Baking Show or whatever. So I'm not an expert baker when it comes to bread, but that's what I'm guessing, and I'm proud of myself either way, because I challenged myself, I did it, I accomplished it, did what I set out to do, and it made for a good vehicle for this burger, which was really good. It was. For having a long-standing craving for just a really good classic burger, this hit the nail on the head, and that sauce really pulled everything together. Like, it would not have been the same experience without that sauce. So I didn't measure anything out when I was doing the sauce, but like, I encourage you to try it. I do. I encourage you to try it because it was so good and it worked so well. So that was Good Burger Treat Day. I hope you enjoyed it. I encourage you to go out and make your own good sauce. Make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, like the videos, comment. My posting schedule does not exist. I'm sorry. I do my best. If you're subscribed and you have notifications turned on and whatever, whenever I do manage to post something, you'll get a pop-up saying that I posted something, so you won't miss anything. But until next time.
Alright. We have one more thing to do.
Hi. Can I just get a small strawberry milkshake, please? Thank you. My pleasure. Hello. Thank you. You too. Try to get down, good Lord. Baby got them open all over town. Oh, it's so good. Thanks for eating with me.